Hello, thank you for joining me today. This is another video tutorial by Amanda Fowler of inspiringinkin.com. Today's video tutorial is how to make an easel card. This is an easel card. If I show you from the side, it's probably easiest for you to see. It actually opens like this and stands. So it stands at an angle. It will fold flat to go in the post. It's one of those cards that looks as though it's going to be tricky to make, but it's really straightforward. So let's get started. First up, you're going to need a card blank. This is my standard sized card blank, which is 8 inches across by 5 3/4 inches down, and it's scored at 4 inches. This colour is Midnight Muse, and then you need a second piece of card which is 4 inches by 5 3/4. This is going to be your top layer for your card. Then this is silver glimmer paper. This is 5 1/4 inches by 3 1/2. Then a whisper white layer which is 3 inches by 4 3/4. And then for the inside, we've got a little tiny strip here, which is 1/2 inch by 5 1/2. Then a second piece of whisper white card for the inside, which is also 5 1/2, but this time by 3 inches. So we're going to start out with the base card. And although it's got one score line on it at the moment, which is at 4 inches, I'm actually going to put a second score line in. So I'm bringing in my Simply Scored, and I'm going to score at 2 inches. And that is as much additional work as you're going to do. So I'm just going to fold that back. Now the thing I love about easel cards is they look really difficult, but that one score line is all you need to make this card, because that piece folds back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand it on its end so you can see clearly. So this piece folds backwards, and you're going to stick that card piece onto there, and that is what's going to make the easel stand. So bring in my trusty Tombow glue. You do need to use a good glue just to make sure that this is well stuck down. Try not to get the glue everywhere. Right. I'm just lining up all my edges and then giving it a good press down. So that is the mechanics of the easel card. Don't worry, at the moment it's quite bouncy. But by the time we put the additional layers on, it will flatten out. So now I'm going to do my stamping. Now I'm using Festive Flurry. I'm just going to use the 2 smallest snowflakes. So I'm going to use Greetings of the Season and the Merry Christmas stamp. That's in there. When you're mounting the clear mount stamps, do press them down for a count of 3. Make sure that they're really well stuck onto the block, and just lightly tap. I'm just going to put it in this bottom right hand corner, and then I'm going to bring in the 2 inks and snowflakes. The rule of odd numbers applies. 3s, 5s, 7s, you just need odd numbers when you're stamping. I don't know what kind of magic it is, but it makes a difference. It makes it look much better than not doing it. So now we're going to mount the stamped image onto the glimmer paper. What I'm actually going to do with the glimmer paper is something that I call gutting. I'm actually going to take some of the glitter paper out using a punch. You're not going to see the majority of it, so we crafters, we like to get the maximum use out of the things that we have. And also I've got something in mind for these punched out shapes, so you have to come back and see that video another day. So I'm using the mosaic punch, and I'm going to press it quite far in. I want to make sure that you're not going to be able to see any of the punched shapes when I put the layer on the top. So if I just double check that. Okay, so that works fine. This actually has a double purpose. The glimmer paper is quite tricky because it's glittery to get things to stick to it. Now you can use the tip of your scissors and actually scratch a little bit of the glimmer paper or the glitter away to get a good adhesion, but this way works really well. So I'm going to use my trusty Tombow to stick the back of the glimmer paper onto the cardstock. My Tombow doesn't want to come out this morning, so put plenty all over. So that's going to go onto the card blank there at the front, and then what I'm going to use are my dimensionals, and of course they will stick really well to the cardstock underneath. I'm not actually going to stick anything to the glimmer paper at all. Just take the backing papers off. And then pop that over the top. Now nobody will see that you've got all of these lovely pieces to use on another project another day. So now I'm going to put in some additional embellishments on here. So I'm going to stamp another snowflake in Midnight Muse, and I'm going to use the matching framelets with my Big Shot. I'll just grab my Big Shot and the magnetic platform. I know I say this every time I get my magnetic platform out. You need one of these. It makes cutting with framelets so easy. I'm just going to get the smallest framelit out. So I've popped that down, and can you hear the snap? And it just moves where, you can just move it gently, but then it holds it in place. Before I had a magnetic platform, I used to use post-it notes, which worked, but there were occasions when things moved and it was just really frustrating. So let's just pop that out. I'm just going to swap the magnetic platform for the multi-purpose. So I'm going to do a bit of embossing as well. Ooh. Now I'm using this embossing folder, which is one of a set of two called Delicate Designs. This one's actually got snowflakes on it, and we're not going to use very much of the design because we've got a tiny piece of cardstock here. It's only 1/2 inch wide, but I just wanted something to give it a little bit more interest rather than just being a plain piece of cardstock. So embossing always goes on tab 1. So run it through. Let's get the picture out of the way now. So there you have a lovely piece of embossed or debossed, whichever way around you like it. So we've got our snowflake, So I'm going to pop a dimensional on there, and that is just going to go here. We need some more sparkle on this card, so I'm going to use some rhinestones. I always use the point of my scissors, and if you press down on the rhinestones, you'll be able to lift them up easily with the point of the scissors. The most frustrating thing is when you try and pick them up and you've not got the glue on the bottom. Okay, I've got to count my odd numbers again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay, so that's all done. So this is the front of the card. Now we're actually going to work on the inside. Glitter everywhere. So I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. This is for the inside of the card. There we go, odd numbers again. I'll just pop that down, get my Tombow. Now this piece is designed that when it's actually standing, it will be hidden. So then we're going to bring in the embossed piece. Now you need to put plenty of glue on this because it's bumpy. You need to make sure it's securely down, and it is also going to be the piece that actually keeps the easel standing upright. There we go. And I'm going to take one of the frosted finishes. These are really beautiful, more jewellery like than card making, but if it's a special person you can put something special on there too. So that's going to go in the centre, and they look very much like snowflakes. And that is the card finished. What I'm just going to do is just give it a bit of a squash down, just to make sure that the card will then stand. And I'll hold it up, I think, so that you can see a little better at the front and there at the side. Now you can, I like it standing like that, but you can of course make them so they stand further back. You just are going to move this embellishment. You can use buttons, brads will work, all sorts of things. Thanks very much for stopping by. If you'd like to purchase any of the products used in today's video, please stop by my blog www.inspiringinkin.com. I hope to see you again soon.